This is Fred Ricciani of TSC News here to recap WWE Monday Night Raw Slammy Awards Edition, December 21st, 2015. This Raw emanated from the the adopted hometown of Brock Lesnar, Minneapolis, Minnesota, where he made a name for himself in the world of amateur wrestling, NCAA wrestling, former NCAA heavyweight champion. But unfortunately, Brock was nowhere to be found. Neither was Sting, who won an award. Neither was The Undertaker, and neither was John Cena, who was confirmed to return next week against Alberto Del Rio, albeit in a non-title match. You see, the best way to describe this edition of Raw is just simply weird. Just weird. Weird from the voting, weird from the pacing, weird from the segments, weird from the main event, weird from the finish. I mean, weird everything. So let's start from the beginning. Kind of walk you through the reoccurring theme of the show outside of the awards, and tell you how things ended, and then we'll go over the awards. So we had Stephanie McMahon come out because, of course, on any show, on any Raw, you need a long, boring promo, preferably with the Authority. So Stephanie McMahon comes out, says she's in a happy mood. She's in a real happy mood because it's Monday Night Raw, and it's the Slammies, and everybody's jolly and excited. It's the holiday season. And then Roman comes out to cut her off, and he's happy. Crowd's reacting to him positively, although I will say it was not a tippity-top guy reaction, at least at the beginning of the show, which is surprising. You think at the end maybe the crowd would kind of be tired, and they were tired. I mean, it's a long show, and there was a lot of talking, and frankly, not enough wrestling, in my humble opinion, for a 3-hour broadcast. But Roman came out. He essentially just kind of cracked jokes, said he doesn't sweat Stephanie, he doesn't sweat Vince McMahon, and he doesn't sweat Triple H. And oh, by the way, he hasn't seen Triple H in quite a while. Well, that's funny because I saw Triple H no-selling his injuries on NXT. And then I saw Triple H on Instagram and Twitter no-selling his injuries, doing some dumbbell presses. So, man, for an old-school guy that's sure into kayfabe or seemed to be into kayfabe and selling and attention to detail, he sure as hell didn't sell the angle with Roman Reigns very hard. I mean, I guess he's been off TV, and not everybody follows his Instagram and Twitter and watches NXT or the network, but still, do you really have to post your workout videos? Do you really have to appear on NXT? I don't think so, but hey, he runs the company. He can do whatever the hell he wants, so screw what I have to say, right? So Stephanie orders Roman out of the ring. Roman says, "These people don't want me to leave the ring." And the crowd, was positive, but again, it wasn't a gigantic reaction. And she ordered him out of the ring. They kept going back and forth. And then she was like, "I'm going to make you get out of this ring," and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, God, she's going to slap him again. Instead, he left the ring, went through the crowd. Crowd was happy, went, through the crowd, and, he's a man of the people. And she said, "You know what? I'm going to book Sheamus versus Dean Ambrose inside of a steel cage. This is on you, Roman." So it's going to be Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns. Excuse me, Dean Ambrose versus Sheamus inside of a steel cage, which if you're watching live on YouTube right now, we are simulating in the TSC News Arena on WWE 2K16. So, all throughout the night, we had the League of Nations take out a bunch of geeks. We had Neville, who somehow won Breakout Superstar of the Year as voted by the fans. He got completely punked out by Kevin Owens, who said he deserved the award. And Neville, being the valiant babyface, just said, "Whatever, Kevin." Yeah, some babyface. So later in the show, he got destroyed by Rusev. Later in the show, the Usos got destroyed backstage by the entire League of Nations, including eating a bro kick in the backstage area, which is wacky. Sheamus could have just hit him with the belt. He could have hit him with the pipe. He could have hit him with his big Irish fists. No, he has to go for his finishing move backstage. And, of course, there's always pipes and boxes conveniently lying around backstage during a brawl. And, yeah, that's what happened. So we had Dean Ambrose come out, get bro kicked to hell. And then Dean Ambrose did something he always does. He came back to life. He was resurrected. He was like Goku with the 7 Dragon Balls. He rose from the dead, and he held his own. He kept going back and forth with Sheamus, survived the white noise, survived a bunch of throws into the cage. I mean, this guy was so resilient, but he needed a little bit of help because, you see, League of Nations was at ringside. So what happens? Roman Reigns comes out. Took him long enough. He came out. He took out the League of Nations. He threw Dean Ambrose a chair. Dean used the chair on Sheamus, hit him in the gut, hit the dirty deeds on the chair. And unless my eyes deceive me, because I was also prepping for this broadcast during this interview, unless my eyes deceive me here, I'm pretty sure Sheamus went for a pin or two in this match. I'm pretty sure pinfalls are legal in this match. And instead, for whatever for whatever reason, I lost my voice screaming at my TV because I was just wondering what the hell the logic was here. Instead, Roman goes, Dean, climb up. Dean? Climb up? What? So Dean climbs up. And I'm thinking he's going to do an elbow drop or something. No, he's climbing out of the cage as opposed to pinning a man. Why? I don't know. Maybe he wants to jump in Roman Reigns' arms and hug like, Titanic or something. I don't know what it is. So he's going down the cage, or he's trying to anyway, and Sheamus meets him at the top. And they brawl, and they go back and forth, and Roman's just like, come on, Dean. Come on, Dean. It was almost like a male, manlier version of Brie cheering on Nikki. Come on, Nikki. Come on, Nikki. So finally, they go back and forth, and Sheamus headbutts Dean Ambrose. Ambrose falls on his back, splat on the mat. That looked like it sucked. And it was Dean Ambrose who won the steel cage match. I don't want to say by hook or by crook, but it was, it was not in a way that made him look particularly strong. And as you see on WWE 2K16 that we're broadcasting on YouTube, it looks like Sheamus actually won. And if you really think about it, he technically was the real winner. I mean, he had some help here and there, but Roman Reigns threw a steel chair in there, and Dean Ambrose was too stupid to pin him and went up top. Nothing like a stupid babyface. We found out later, too, that on Smackdown, Super Smackdown, on Tuesday night as opposed to Thursday night, since it is WWE Week on USA Network, we are going to have Dean Ambrose defend the Intercontinental Championship against Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens. So that should be very interesting. Excuse me while I take some water here. I don't know why my voice is going. Probably because I was screaming at my TV, because, you see, I was in disbelief. I was in complete disbelief. The New Day won no awards. I repeat, the New Day won no awards. They didn't win an award for LOL Moment of the Year. That went to R-Truth, who thought he was in the Money in the Bank ladder match. The New Day didn't win Tag Team of the Year. That went to the Usos, inexplicably. And the New Day did not win Superstar of the Year, and they were counted as one superstar. That instead went to Seth Rollins, who came out on crutches. Poor guy, looked like he's been having a rough time getting around. I mean, I can only imagine. And he's going to be out, close to 8-9 months, maybe more. Maybe more. You always want to err on the side of caution with those situations right there. And, he said that he'll be back. He'll rebuild. And he will come back stronger than ever to take what is his, the title he never lost, even though he jobbed, roughly 1,000 times. So, yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I'm fine with Seth Rollins, winning the title, or I'm sorry, winning the Superstar of the Year. I really have no problem with that. I mean, he had a great year. He had a great year. He deserved it. So we shall see what happens there in the future. As for the rest of the awards, let's go through them and the matches that surrounded them. This show dragged, by the way. There was barely any wrestling on this show for a while. We had a really nice match with Dolph Ziggler and Kevin Owens, which just stemmed from their brawl after Kevin Owens punked out Neville and Ziggler was a presenter. And Owens ended up winning that one clean with a pop-up powerbomb. We had the match of the year announcement. Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, Hell in a Cell 1 over the likes of John Cena versus Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins at Royal Rumble. Personally, I thought that was a WWE match of the year, but hey, it's fine. Sting versus Triple H at WrestleMania, definitely not a match of the year candidate in my opinion. John Cena versus Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber. I would have voted, actually, that's the one I would have voted for, just given the impact and the fact that Owens won in his debut, and it was such a different match that John Cena's had before. And a fatal four-way match between Reigns, Ziggler, Owens, and Del Rio on Raw on October 26th. That was all right. I mean, that was a pretty good match, too, but yeah, I don't know if we call it the best one. But Undertaker and Lesnar, hey, they left it all out there in the ring. I'm fine with that. This is also a moment of the year was Rock and Ronda Rousey. That's fine. Diva of the year, Nikki Bella. And what's funny, or not so funny, depending on your humor, was R-Truth impersonating Steve Harvey. Or doing a Steve Harvey impression. Because, of course, if there's one guy that needs to be the dude that flubs everything, whether it be Green Bay or Milwaukee, Wisconsin, whether it be him thinking he's in the Money in the Bank ladder match or not, whether it be him talking to an invisible person, it's R-Truth. So he played the role of Steve Harvey for Miss Universe. He announced Paige as the winner, and they said, "Sorry, Paige, the winner's Nikki Bella," which was kind of funny, kind of cute. And Nikki Bella came out and cut like a total babyface promo, and she put over all the women, and it was very reminiscent of AJ Lee's speech a couple years ago, where it was almost like a farewell. It was almost like, with the benefit of hindsight, AJ Lee telegraphed her eventual retirement. And I'm not saying Nikki Bella's going to retire, but she's had neck issues. She's currently rehabbing, and her status, her future is certainly in doubt right now in the ring. I hope she comes back. I really do, but, we'll have to find out. And oops, got some updates there via PS4. Forgot to shut off those notifications, but cool. Batman update. I guess I'll play that later. We had the surprise Return of the Year award. Sting got that one. Sting was not there to accept. We had the Hero in All of Us award presented by Coca-Cola, which is a huge sponsorship for WWE. Kudos to them and for NBC Universal getting them that sponsorship. That's a kick-ass sponsorship. And this went to the most charitable superstar of the year. It was a little cringeworthy for me. Not because I didn't think it was a nice honor or anything. It just felt weird, having a competition between who's the best human being. I mean, Titus O'Neil does a lot of great work. Natalya does a lot of great work. Big Show, Mark Henry, John Cena, Roman Reigns, they all do a lot of great work. Why do we need to, put some type of, I don't know, like award or something? You know what I mean? Put like a label. Why not just give an award to all the WWE superstars? Or you know what? Why not give an award to all the charities that they participated in or something? Get a representative of, Connor's Cure and, the cancer stuff and the USO and like get pretty much any charitable organization they're involved in. Just get one rep and present like an award, a trophy of their own to them and say, you know what, you guys are the real heroes, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much for allowing us to participate and to help you guys out. That to me would have been a little bit classier than giving it to John Cena. It was still classy. It was still cool, but I don't really think there's a loser there when you're doing stuff from the heart. That's just my opinion. As I noted before, Seth Rollins won Superstar of the Year. Oh my God, shocking moment of the year was Kalisto doing the Salida del Sol through the ladder at TLC. Well deserved. He cut an awkward promo wearing his lucha mask and a suit. He looked pretty sharp. I really do hope that he can do more in 2016. The guy is ridiculously talented. Is he the most charismatic? Not really. Is that lucha chant really cool at all? No, not really. But he's a guy with a ton of talent in the ring. He does have some star quality. He can speak perfect English as well as perfect Spanish. So why wouldn't you do something with him? Guess that remains to be seen. Hopefully they'll do something with him. But I'm kind of surprised. I guess people have short memories because that won over Seth Rollins cashing in. And that won over Sheamus cashing in at Survivor Series as well. LOL moment of the year was R-Truth. We had Breakout Superstar of the Year, as I mentioned, Neville, which is very surprising to win over Kevin Owens and Charlotte. Extreme moment of the year was Roman Reigns destroying the League of Nations and Triple H at TLC. That was fine. That was fine, although my money was on Undertaker and Lesnar's massive brawl, which was one of the best brawls in WWE history. Seriously, that was great. Double cross of the year was Damien Mizdow eliminating The Miz from the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which turned out to be the height of both guys in that feud. And sadly, Big Show won for some strange reason, and Mizdow faded into obscurity. Little surprised that Jon Stewart, costing John Cena the U.S. title at SummerSlam, didn't win. And yeah, let's see. Let's look at the other nominations here. Stardust turns on Goldust. That's stupid. Paige attacks Charlotte and Becky Lynch. That's stupid. Randy Orton turns on the Authority. No, okay, that was fine. That was fine. I'm happy for Mizdow. I like Mizdow, so good that he at least got one award. Best Original WWE Network Show was the Stone Cold Podcast. Makes sense to me. Rivalry of the Year, Undertaker, Brock Lesnar. That works for me. Very surprised that Cena and Owens wasn't listed in the nominees. It was Cena and Rusev instead, along with Reigns and Wyatt. Team Bella versus Team Bad versus Team PCB. Ugh. And Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. Ugh. Tag Team of the Year, Usos. Still can't believe it. But hey, good for them. Best John Cena U.S. Open Challenge against Cesaro on July 6th. No argument there. That was an excellent match. Hashtag of the Year, Suplex City. Again, no argument there. Celebrity Moment, Stephen Amell dives onto Stardust. That was pretty cool. That was very cool, but I think Jon Stewart should have won, given all the mainstream exposure. I just laugh at the cast of Entourage introducing Zack Ryder as a nominee. No, sorry. And I love Entourage. To tell me you just didn't see that moment of the year, Brock Lesnar coining Suplex City at WrestleMania. That's pretty cool. And, overall, a nice little award show. Just, unfortunately, it was dragged out across 3 hours with not too much wrestling. It was all right. But just way too much talking. Honestly, I barely have any recollection of what happened outside of the main event in terms of in the ring. Let me see if there's anything else I missed before I get to your questions here. Because like I said, Neville lost to not Kevin Owens, Rusev. Oh, here we go. The Wyatt family destroyed Kane, Tommy Dreamer, and the Dudleys. I have no idea what the point of this was, but all I can say is this. Bubba Ray Dudley, that's what happens, I guess, when you openly beg WWE on Twitter, and I guess to some extent bug them to hire your girlfriend, Velvet Sky, who, with all due respect to her, very nice girl, met her a couple times at some shows, is no good in the ring. Sometimes you want to keep things private. That's just some advice here. Just some advice, which I think it's a lesson he's unfortunately learning the hard way because he's becoming the Dudley death jobber. That's what happens. You petition for your girlfriend to get hired on Twitter, and then you job to Eric Rowan and Braun the Strowman. Dolph Ziggler lost to Kevin Owens. And were there any other matches? Oh yeah, Alberto Del Rio beat Jack Swagger. This is all right. Nothing great. Nothing we haven't seen before. Oh, Usos beat the New Day in a 2-on-3 handicap match. Poor New Day. Rusev beat Neville. And, Becky Lynch beat Brie Bella. Becky Lynch has some new gear. So she's looking good. Way better than the other gear she was rocking, whatever the hell that was. And as I mentioned earlier, Dean Ambrose beat Sheamus in a non-title match inside of a steel cage when he stupidly decided to escape the cage as opposed to pinning Sheamus. But whatever. They like to book him like an idiot. So let's go to some questions. Justin Reside asks, are we getting a 6-man tag TLC match in the TSC WWE Universe? Oh, well, I should mention that we started doing our own WWE Universe Mode series on TSC News right here on this YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Sports Courier. I just uploaded a few clips of Chad Gable and Jason Jordan's debut, the reformation of the Shield, and much, much more. But I will be releasing full episodes, so maybe like 10, 15 minutes. we'll see what happens. We'll see what my schedule looks like, but it's going to be leading up to Extreme Rules. Just to give you guys a very, very brief synopsis, as I know people want their questions answered. Pretty much, we kick things off with a few weeks away from Extreme Rules. Roman Reigns is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He has to not only take on the returning Seth Rollins, but two of his new associates hired by the Authority, Chad Gable, and Jason Jordan of NXT. And if they can help Seth Rollins win the title, they get main roster contracts and a tag team title shot. I also have a Brock Lesnar-Bray Wyatt feud going on, and the rekindling of John Cena versus Kevin Owens, leading up to a big multi-man tag match featuring a very special WWE Hall of Fame guest appearance at Extreme Rules. You want to find out more? You're going to have to watch the videos, and you're going to have to stay tuned for episode 1 of our WWE Universe Moch, which will be coming up this week as a Christmas present to all you guys. Okay. Santino Marella as the big get at the Slammies equals a thumbs down. Yes, Scott Anderson, my usual co-host. Santino being the only surprise guest, not feeling it. You couldn't have Sting do an interview via satellite. You couldn't have Brock Lesnar appear. You couldn't have John Cena appear a week early. Come on, man, or at least do like a thing on screen, remote as well. Yeah, I wasn't feeling that one. JB says, I hope KO wins the IC title back tomorrow. I think it's too early to take it off Ambrose. I think the problem is it's one of those matchups at TLC where neither guy could really afford to lose, but they booked it anyway. And to me, I think you need to protect Ambrose. I think he should be protected as the number 2 babyface. And I guess when John Cena comes back, he's going to slide down to number 3 babyface. But he should still be remotely protected, which, frankly speaking, I don't think he was tonight. And with Owens, he probably should have been kept away from Ambrose. It all depends what they're doing. If they're going to go with Owens versus Brock Lesnar, which is a rumored matchup for WrestleMania, I'm cool with that. But they got to put some steam on him. And if that's the plan, and you want to give him the IC title, sure. But I just think it's way too soon to take it off of Ambrose. But you know what? They want to do something special for the Tuesday Night SmackDown. They want to make SmackDown feel special before they debut in January. I could see them doing that. I will say this. I'm not a fan of those SmackDown trailers. I think that they need to emphasize the action, and instead all they're doing is having these stupid comedy bits and everything. For those that don't know, and I'm sure most people have seen these SmackDown ads, it's the Authority kind of reenacting like a scene from Office Space from back in the day. And they're saying, okay, how can we promote SmackDown? And they have all these superstars auditions saying stupid things, like Paige saying, oh, things sound cool in a British accent. I could say things in a British accent. And Roman Reigns, their sworn enemy, is making some bad joke. And then Stardust is like, we could have something in the stars. And that's how they're promoting SmackDown, with stupid, bad comedy. Why not show highlights of Roman Reigns destroying the Authority and the League of Nations? Why not show highlights of Brock Lesnar's suplexes? Why not show highlights of Nikki Bella's forearms? Seriously. That'd be better than some bad comedy. But no, they want to promote SmackDown, especially to casual viewers, with comedy. And not even good comedy. That's going to make people take it seriously. Hey, I wish him all the best. They just hired Mauro Ranallo. Hope he does well, but they got an uphill battle. I'm interested in seeing who his broadcast partners are going to be. I don't see it being Jerry Lawler and Mauro Ranallo as a team. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll throw in a monkey wrench. Maybe they'll have a JBL with Mauro. Maybe they'll have. I'm trying to think who would be. Who knows? Maybe they could put Tyson Kidd on there, who's been on the shelf for a while. Christian. They could put him on there. Daniel Bryan. I mean, you never know. You never know. But it's going to be interesting. And at the moment, I'm more interested in the SmackDown announce team than I am the actual storylines that are going to be playing out on SmackDown. But maybe that'll change after watching SmackDown on Tuesday night. Who do you want to see win the Royal Rumble? Supaton 1. Who do I want to see win the Royal Rumble? That's a good question. Based on who's active right now, geez, that's a really, really tough question. if they hadn't blown the Dean Ambrose Roman Reigns first time ever matchup, I'd say Dean Ambrose. For the sake of putting over another young guy, another guy for the future, I would still say Dean Ambrose. My runner-up would be Kevin Owens. As far as who I think is probably going to win, and honestly, right now it's wide open because it all depends on what they do for the title match at the Royal Rumble. If Triple H is not in the title match, I could see Triple H, yes, in 2016 now, Jesus, winning the Royal Rumble, and that to me would not. I would not like that. It'd be kind of sad. I'm not saying it's best for business, but if you're going with the Roman Reigns Triple H matchup and Roman Reigns is going to remain champion leading up to WrestleMania, I guess it makes sense because you don't want to devalue the Royal Rumble where you have one guy win and then say Triple H beats him for the right to face Roman Reigns at Fastlane. Man, that is a tough one. You could do John Cena. I know John Cena gets a lot of flack, but I really do feel like, especially this year, he's gotten to the point where a lot of fans, even if they still kind of dislike the character and everything, they truly respect him. I mean, all the great matches he had with the likes of Neville and Sami Zayn and Cesaro and Kevin Owens, and you can make the argument some of those guys should have gone over Cena, but he really held his own, and he's a guy that could have been lazy, that could have just chilled out, that could have bitched and moaned about getting somewhat demoted in some ways and not being a part of the world title picture, and he could have taken a night off and slacked off in the ring, and instead at 38 years old he brought it, and he arguably had the best in-ring year of his entire career, and he added new moves to his arsenal. Some sucked, like the springboard stunner. Some were cool and at times were hit or miss, like the Code Red. But the bottom line is, the guy, say what you want about him, he busted his ass night in, night out, and I think fans certainly miss his presence on the show. Maybe they don't miss like the stupid promos and the lack of creative creative storylines and all that jazz. I mean, that Rusev feud didn't exactly light the world on fire, but as far as the matches and the U.S. Open Challenge and everything, I certainly think that's missed. So could I see Cena winning the Royal Rumble? Yes, I can. Would I want to? Not necessarily, but if you want to do Cena versus Roman Reigns, there is no bigger stage than WrestleMania. I think in some ways it's a very unique matchup just for the crowd reactions alone. I think it's intriguing. And it's also intriguing because we don't know where Roman Reigns is going to be at in 3 to 4 months. It's possible. It is possible that Roman Reigns may not have any more goodwill with the fans. It's possible that the ratings may still suck, and I'm not going to totally put that on him. The Authority's still dominating. The Authority's technically still the top heels, and to me, when it's two non-wrestlers as your top heels, that's never a good thing. So, if you do Reigns versus John Cena, you can promote it as John Cena going for his 16th world title, and you could also promote it as Roman Reigns not having the torch passed to him, but ripping the torch out of John Cena's hands, or at least trying to. And if you see Roman Reigns starting to fluster or fail or whatever, you can go with John Cena, old reliable, for the short term. And who knows? You have John Cena beat Roman Reigns. You make a big deal about him winning his 16th world title. And then you have Roman Reigns turn heel. Boom. There's your new top heel. You have John Cena for the time being, and then you can elevate somebody else as your top babyface. I don't know who. Maybe you wait for Seth Rollins to return. Maybe you elevate Dean Ambrose. Hell, maybe even turn Kevin Owens. Maybe somebody else emerges from NXT. Although that's wishful thinking because it seems like they're never going to call up some of those top guys. Which, for those that listen to me, you already know my thoughts on that. It's ridiculous that guys like Finn Balor are still in NXT and not paid like main roster guys, but that's another story for another day. So yeah, as far as who's most likely right now, assuming it's going to be Sheamus versus Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble, which I think would be stupid, but it looks like they may do that. Triple H or John Cena. If it's Triple H versus Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble, you know what? Flip a coin. I'd say flip a coin between John Cena and Dean Ambrose, because outside of that, unless they have something crazy planned, like Daniel Bryan making a surprise comeback, or The Rock or something else, which I don't think they have. Let's say Cena, Triple H, Ambrose, Those are my favorites. Kevin Owens as a dark horse, but just can't see him getting over his physique to push him to that next level. Could be wrong, so we'll see. In a perfect world, I'd love for Daniel Bryan to come back, but his status is completely up in the air right now. Okay, a couple people in the crowd booed Rollins. That's sad. Yeah, but he's technically still a heel. What about Undertaker winning the Rumble and facing Roman at WrestleMania? Holy crap, actually. Jeez, how could I forget about Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker? Those are two guys who absolutely could win the Royal Rumble. Undertaker and Roman, you're guaranteeing Roman's going to be booed, but that would be a huge matchup for him, and you could save Cena versus Reigns for another pay-per-view like SummerSlam. And as far as Lesnar versus Reigns, I'd actually be perfectly fine with Lesnar versus Reigns. And I think it's at the point now where, you know what, you could say, screw it. If he gets booed, he gets booed. If he gets cheered, he gets cheered. We're a year removed. Roman Reigns is more mature. He's kind of grown into his own. He's gone through all the initial flack that he took. He's kind of found his stride right now, at least these last few weeks. Screw it. Do that match and have Roman beat him. I mean, at some point, you need a payoff for all the time and effort you spent building up Brock Lesnar. In a perfect world, would I kept Brock Lesnar undefeated? Yes. In a perfect world, would I have had Brock Lesnar beat Undertaker at SummerSlam? Yes. In a perfect world, with the benefit of hindsight, would I have had Brock Lesnar still champion right now? Yes, considering how they booked Seth Rollins like garbage and all that jazz, and then gave the title to Sheamus and yada yada. But hey, that's hindsight. You can't go back in time. But if you're paying Brock Lesnar all this money, and you want to get a return on investment, what better way than to put him in the main event of WrestleMania against your champion? I'm fine with that too. Undertaker would be cool. It would be a nice nostalgia thing, but Brock Lesnar, if you really think about it and you want to tell a story with Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns does make the most sense. Or, again, you could do Cena versus Reigns. You could have Brock versus Owens or Bray Wyatt or whoever the hell. Have both guys get big wins at WrestleMania and then lead it up to SummerSlam, where it would probably draw a ton of interest. So, yeah, those are all possibilities. Okay, could you see Cesaro winning? No, he's injured and he's on the shelf, and I don't think they would have done it anyway. I hope you guys are ready for a bad start to 2016, says Chris Rose. Why is that? Cena wins the Rumble. Reigns beats Triple H at Fastlane. Actually, I think he'd beat him at Rumble. Cena beats Reigns at Mania. Reigns turns heel because Cena can't. We don't know where we're going to be at in 3 or 4 months, man. 3 to 6 months. Anything's possible. I can't see them turning either guy heel right now. And frankly speaking, I don't think they need to. You could have Cena win the Royal Rumble, and you could have Roman Reigns beat him at WrestleMania. Makes perfect sense. It's not like that's going to be the only major matchup on the show anyway. It's going to be the main one, but there's going to be an Undertaker match. I would imagine Triple H is going to be involved in some capacity. So we'll see. Ernesto says he'd like to see Kevin Owens win the Royal Rumble. So would I. I think the LOL moment of the year should have gone to the creative team. I completely agree, Mr. Silver Bullet 1147. Okay, let's see what else we got. Could you see Ronda Rousey appearing at WrestleMania? No, because she's going to be getting ready for her rematch with Holly Holm, which frankly speaking, I think she's rushing it if she's actually going to try to fight in July, and she's going to be doing a bunch of films. Okay, Alan Wu says, Monday Night Football's over. Congrats to all our fellow fantasy owners that are in the semis because my team made it in by the skin of my teeth. Congrats, Alan. And to everybody else that's playing fantasy football. Mr. McTwister, that's a hell of a name. Is John Cena still alive? Yes, he is the host of a new Fox reality series, and he will be appearing on Raw next week to take on Alberto Del Rio. Let's go. Oh, and how could I forget? Terry Allen Jr. reminded me of the very end of Monday Night Raw. Tom Phillips, whose name I finally got right, went to interview Stephanie McMahon. He put the microphone in her face. He said, Stephanie, and she slapped him. Now, she learned from last week not to slap him as hard as she could because she welted up Roman Reigns' face, could have knocked out his hearing, could have injured his eye. Hell, she could have even given him a concussion. I mean, that chick freaking trains hard. Okay, her husband's Triple H. That girl trains hard. I'd be scared of her. Seriously? I mean, I would never fight a woman, but I would not be, if I had to fight Stephanie McMahon, I know for a fact I would not be favored in that fight. In fact, I'd probably just crawl up in a ball and just let her beat me until the referee stops the fight. Or I'd run away as fast as I can and pray she wouldn't catch me and give me a pedigree, because she's a beautiful woman, but she can be a very scary woman as well. And she slapped the hell out of Tom and just slapped him and then just swatted him like a fly and then kicked him. And Tom Phillips just collapsed like a stack of bricks. It was hilarious. And frankly, it was completely unnecessary. And it was supposed to be something where you take Stephanie seriously. And instead, I think most people were just kind of laughing. I don't see the reason as to why they need Stephanie to emasculate almost everybody. I don't see the reason as to why they need Triple H to look strong in 2015 going into 2016. But maybe it's a combination of insecurity, lazy writing, and no better ideas. Maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just that. Okay, Fred, will you be reviewing the WWE Legends Pack on 2K16? Hell yeah! The review for the Legends Pack will be up either tomorrow night or Wednesday, right here on YouTube.com/thesportscourier. Actually, I could probably stream it. As long as it downloads properly and everything, and I'll start to download as soon as possible tomorrow morning. As long as everything's kosher with PSN, yeah, I'll stream it for you guys as well. So I'll stream it and I'll do a review for you with that one right there. Do you see Bray Wyatt taking on Brock Lesnar? Anything is possible. Anything is possible. We'll take a couple more here. If Stephanie McMahon is scary, watch the video of Aaron True getting beat up by Ronda Rousey. Is that the reporter that got beat up by Ronda Rousey? She's still a scary woman as well. A beautiful woman, but a scary woman. At least to the average civilian. Why wasn't Bayley and Sasha match of the year? Go figure. Go figure. It would be nice to give NXT some exposure and have NXT matches be eligible for voting, but they didn't do that. And okay, one more here. Let's see. Do you think Daniel Bryan is going to come back in time for WrestleMania? If he's going to come back, that's a gigantic if. A gigantic if. He's got to be cleared, and at the moment, the WWE doctors have not cleared him, and they may never clear him. I can see him coming back after WrestleMania, during like a kind of a more down period and everything. I don't think they want to put him in any storylines that are of any consequence because they're afraid that he's going to get injured again and he's going to be a health risk. And again, maybe he'll become a commentator for Raw or SmackDown or something, or pay-per-views. Maybe he'll become the new Raw GM if the authorities finally excommunicated. But yeah, at the moment, his status is up in the air. You never know. Maybe he'll just sit out his contract. He'll do some stuff for WWE, and in 2 years he'll be wrestling for AAA or CMLL or New Japan Pro Wrestling or some other company. Or maybe by then he'll be a father like he expects to be with Brie Bella, and he'll say, you know what? I made a lot of money. I'll just sign another deal with WWE and just make money being a commentator, a GM, and whatever. And look, he's had a great career. I would love to see him back, but health comes first. And whether or not WWE is doing this as far as holding him out just because of lawsuits or because they generally care about his health, honestly, it's kind of irrelevant because in reality, his health is being jeopardized. And I guess that's a decision he has to make and his family has to make. So I wish him the very best. But folks, I'm going to get on out of here. I want to hear from you. What did you think about the Slammy Awards? What do you think about Royal Rumble coming up? Who would you like to see win the Royal Rumble? Let me know. Leave a comment below. Tweet us. Facebook us. Do what you got to do. If you enjoyed this video, this podcast, please click the like button. Please share this with all your friends. Please do not forget to check out our upcoming WWE 2K16 videos, which I'm sure you will enjoy. If you're new here, you can also browse through our interviews archives, which features interviews with the likes of Mick Foley, Booker T, Edge, Gail Kim, Diamond Dallas Page. The list goes on and on. If you're new to TSC, I guarantee you, as a famous man once said, that you will love it. So until next time, everybody, take care, like and share, subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, and you can also download these videos via the YouTube Red subscription service. Until next time, as always, enjoy the games and matches.